Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Today is the 7th of June, I think, and I am about a week late in flipping my compost piles. In today's video, we're going to flip bay 3 to 4 as part of our ongoing series of me taking new material through my new structure month by month from bay 1 to bay 4. I'll link the playlist above, but let's go ahead and take a look at what bay 3 looks like now, because now it's been sitting in bay 3 for a little over a month, and it's been just over 90 days in the full system. Let's see what it looks like. So yeah, a little over 90 days in the system, and I gotta say, I'm not displeased with where it's sitting right now. Now again, if you haven't watched the first few videos, some of this material was brand new. I say brand new. It was deciduous leaf fall with a little bit of cut grass left over from late fall, early winter of last year. And the other half was a semi-decomposed pile of Bermuda grass that I had sitting from when I ripped it out of the garden. So I stacked those two together in bay 1, and every month I've been flipping it since. So we're doing pretty darn well. I'm not unhappy with this. The pile never did, in the first 3 bins, get over 120 degrees. I threw a thermometer here about 2 weeks ago, and I think it came in at around 95, 100. It got up to 120 in the first bay. Bay 2, it was about 115. So again, didn't get up above 130, which is where I would have preferred it to get. Somewhere between 131 and 155 would have been a really nice heat space to really kill weed seeds and pathogens. I'm not concerned about that at all. I think this is a great material that's going to be perfect for top dressing. It's not going to get hot with throwing it into bay 4, but it's going to get these drier areas kind of reset, and should help decomp a little further. Now before we go ahead and get this thing flipped, I want to show you one more improvement that I made. And this is because I built this little holding area because I had nowhere to put the material from bay 4 because I needed it open to flip bay 3 into. When I pull some strawberry beds out in the coming weeks, I'll be able to use this material over there, but in the meantime, I wanted to build a structure that would hold it for me, and all I had to do was flip bay 4 into my holding area, and this is what we did with the first round of material. Now this was all pretty much, the reason why this was not the new material kind of concept is because everything that's in this bin was already sitting in a pile of some sort around the garden. So I consolidated all those piles into 2 of the bins, and over time they just wound up together in this one. So that's why this little project for me, this video series, has been kind of so important, is because I really wanted to see how the system worked from front to back when it had new material. So I'm going to put you down. We're going to go ahead and take this plywood off and see what the profile looks like, and then we'll start flipping. That doesn't upset me at all. Yeah, because you'll see some leaves there. Again, it didn't really get hot. This is a lot of deciduous leaf, like willow oak leaf, which is slow to break down. But again, I mean, this is going to get flipped. It'll break down some more. It's going to be a beautiful top dressing to the beds out there. I'm not displeased with how this is looking at all. Let's get flipped, and when I break the core, get closer to the middle, I'll bring the camera back in close so we can see how it's looking at that point. We've still got some bits here and there that are kind of clumped and matted together. Again, they were full-size leaves, they weren't shredded, so I can't not expect that. And that's why when I'm flipping it over, I'm going over here before I water, I'm taking my cultivator and I'm just kind of zhuzhing around to break up some of these clumps. So without a doubt, this is probably the best looking visual compost I've ever made with the help of the microbes. I don't know how, honestly, to judge how good a compost is, other than how did the plants grow. I've done soil test. I did a soil test on this plot about 4 years ago. Didn't really tell me anything overly interesting. I've never fertilized it. I've only used organic matter. I've never actually finished compost, like finished. I've always used semi-decomposed because I liked the fluffier layer that it provided. It gave a better mulch layer to give a little bit more weed suppression. It went unfinished, semi-finished compost for me stretches over more beds, which is really what I needed to cover my space. And ultimately, to me, the best judge of the compost and the soil quality is how well are the plants growing. So again, I'll know how well this did next year when it's on the beds. Let me finish that thought. When it's on the beds next year and I'm actually seeing the plants that are growing in it. So the core looks about the same as the outer edge. There's really, being that it's been turned now, it was set, it was turned. Everything seems homogeneous at this point as far as the coloring and the texture and the breakdown level. So yeah, I think this next turn is just going to be an opportunity to add some air to it. I am seeing a few worms in there, so it's getting to that slightly more mature stage, I think. Again, it's not going to get hot, but it's giving me a chance to break up more of those clumps and just aerate a little more. Total time to turn that pile was just under an hour, and I'm feeling it. That's a good workout. And now I get to do the same thing for the next 3 mornings, because I got to flip 2 to 3, 1 to 2, and then refill 1. But conversation for another day. Let's take a look at what this material looks like. So I gotta say, folks, I am not displeased with this at all. This is looking really nice. And in the coming, I think about 3 weeks, I'm taking a bunch of strawberry plants out, a bunch of strawberry beds entirely out, and in those beds will go all of this material and all of that material. Actually, while I'm thinking about it, let me show you in the garden. One thing I learned this year is I planted way too many strawberry beds. My goal was to load up a freezer full of berries, and I did that very early on with the quantity of beds I had. And we're still eating fresh, but I've lost a lot of the berries too. Now that was partially my fault because I planted too many, but also the rain we've had this spring has been ridiculously aggressive. And even when I stayed on top of them, a lot of the berries just wound up turning to mush, just because I think the roots took up too much water too fast and the berries went, you know, kaboom. So when we come into the garden, right to the right of to the left of the garden gate, I've got all of these strawberry beds here. What I'm gonna do is these first 2 beds, they stay. They're gonna run wild. All of these beds come out. I've got my San Marzano tomatoes. They're coming in nicely. This strawberry bed comes out, and all of these strawberry beds come out. And all of the compost that you just saw in bay 4, the one we just added to, and then the staging area off to the right of that, that is going to go in onto these beds, because all these beds could use a bit of a refresher. And those first 2 beds, what's going to happen with them, they're going to run wild. And in October, they're going to come out. Now that strawberry bed over there is going to come out too. But in October, every plant that I can get from those first 2 beds will go probably in the first 8 beds here. And I think 8 beds is going to be enough for us to both fill the freezer next year and have fresh eating until the plants tire out. And then I'll do the same thing next year. I'll probably leave the 2 beds over here to go ahead and run wild. I'll pull them and I'll find another 8 beds somewhere else where they want to live the following year. So yeah, that's where we stand on this little compost turning project. We've now taken the material, we flipped 3 full times. We built it, we went 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4. Now it's going to stand for 30 days, and then when we come back in the next video, we'll just do it. It'll be a quick update. We'll just kind of comb through the material and see what kind of shape it's in, and then we'll call this whole playlist done. Appreciate you sticking with me. If you have any comments or questions or suggestions, please go ahead and post them below. I'd love to talk composting. If you know anybody in the composting game who wants to get into it, who would find this interesting, please share it along. I'd love to see more people join in the conversation. And until next time, take care.